So hello everyone, this is Zhaohan from Penn State. Here I'm happy to present our recent work on the security risks of AutoML. So this is the outline of this presentation. I will first talk about some background knowledge of AutoML and neural network attacks. Afterwards, I will share some experimental results to review the vulnerabilities of AutoML model architectures. AutoML, to explain such vulnerabilities, we conduct a theoretical analysis. Finally, we will provide several possible solutions to mitigate the vulnerabilities of AutoML procedures. Okay, let's start with the background. What is AutoML? AutoML, which refers to automated machine learning, is a very broad term. It contains auto-augmentation, hyperparameter optimization, neural architecture search, and so on. It has been widely applied in many industrial scenarios. For example, there is Google's AutoML and Amazon's AutoGluon. So in this presentation, I will only focus on neural architecture search. So neural architecture search, which is NAS in short, it searches good architecture automatically. Compared with human-designed model architectures, such as ResNet, NAS models tend to have a better classification accuracy because they are optimized on the dataset. Among various kinds of NAS optimization algorithms, differential architecture search, which is DARS, might be the most famous searching algorithm. It is very efficient and based on cells. For example, here is the figure that shows the basic workflow of DARS. For the input image, it goes through multiple convolutional cells and reduction cells, and finally passes the softmax layer to output the probability classification vector. And on the right side, there is also a figure that shows the inner structure of DARS. And each cell is composed of several nodes, and all the edges that are connect nodes are optimizable operations. That means they could be convolutional layers, skip connects, or average pooling. So after AutoML, let's go to the neural network attacks. There are several types of neural network attacks: evasion, data poisoning, backdoor injection, model extraction, and etc. Among all the attacks, the most famous one might be the PGD attack, which refers to projected gradient descent. For the original panda image, which is classified correctly by the model classifier with around 60 confidence, the attacker adds a small, unnoticeable noise onto the original image and gets the perturbed image. From humans' vision, there is almost no difference between the original image and the perturbed image because the perturbation norm is quite small. However, for the model classifier, it will classify the perturbed image as gibbon with almost 100% confidence. There is also the Trojan attack, which is a kind of backdoor injection. Backdoor attacks aims to inject a trigger pattern into the model, and all images attached with that trigger will be misclassified into target class. For example, in this figure, all images with the Apple watermark will be classified as fish. As fish. Okay. So right now we have finished the background. Before checking some experimental results, here are the data sets and models that we use in our paper. For the data sets, we use CIFAR 10 CIFAR 100, and also a subset sampled from ImageNet. So they are all famous datasets used in image classification domain. For the model architectures, we use a bunch of state-of-the-art human-designed model architectures, and also evaluate a list of AutoML models generated by popular NAS algorithms. So these are some key experimental results to reveal the vulnerability of AutoML models. We can easily tell that there is a clear gap between AutoML models and human-designed models, so that we draw the conclusion that NAS-designed models tend to be more vulnerable. So after realizing the vulnerabilities of AutoML models, we need the explanation for this phenomenon. Therefore, we make such theoretical analysis. It is already known that NAS algorithms prefer architectures that converge fast, which means they prefer shallow models with more skip connects. And that preference will lead to the NAS model characteristics, which are the high loss smoothness and the low gradient variance. And the high loss smoothness can also be expressed as small ellipses constant. To validate our hypothesis, we evaluate the loss landscape and the gradient variance empirically. Compare with that complex loss landscape of human designed models, which is the left figure. We can see that AutoML models have more convex loss landscapes. And also from the bar chart, we can also tell that human designed models have larger gradient variance than AutoML models. So as a result, based on those two characteristics, we can prove that NAS models are more sensitive to training data, and the gradients are more effective for optimization. So how to understand this? For example, after one step of PGD attack, the loss of AutoML models will drop more than human-designed models, and that will make it easier to attack. So in some sense, it is easier to train, but also easier to attack. So since there are the vulnerabilities for the AutoML models, what could we do to mitigate? So here we propose several promising solutions based on previous model characteristics. To suppress those characteristics, we can increase the cell depths and reduce the number of skip connects. Here we design three variants of original DARS model architecture. The first variant stretches the cell to make it deeper. The second variant replaces all the skip connects to convolutional layers, which is from the red to blue. And the third variant is simply the combination of the previous approaches. Afterwards, we evaluate all the variants together with the original DARS. We can see that all the variants performs much better than the original DARS model architecture, which means they are more robust against different attacks. To note that these mitigation approaches are very naive, and we just want to show a promising future research direction. Okay, so finally, let's make the conclusion for this presentation. In this presentation, we discover the vulnerabilities of AutoML models and provide a theoretical explanation that it is because of the high loss smoothness and the low gradient variance. To mitigate the vulnerabilities, we provide possible solutions, that is to build attack robustness into the NAS architectures. Okay, so this is my presentation. I'm welcome any questions.